Hello guys and gals, and welcome. So today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. This doesn't necessarily have to do with the game itself, playing the game or how to build a character or anything like that, but this has to do with other things, like how to use commands. There are a myriad of commands in Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected, and for this purpose I'm going to go over some of those commands with you, what they can do for you, what you can use them for, and how to utilize them. Now, some of the commands are inside of the game, and some of them are not. And we're going to have to go over how to use those commands in the multitude of ways that you would. So the first ones we're going to go over are actually in the game, the first one is really easy. It is /FPS. If you guys don't know about this one, if you do /FPS up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, I know it's very small, which is why I'm going to magnify it ever so greatly. So up in the top left-hand corner, you see it has FPS 55 and ping 63. So we've got the FPS and ping, which is listed right there in the top left-hand corner of the screen. So not bad. We also have some other commands. So let me bring this back. All right, another command that you can use in Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is really easy, is /players8. Now, I have talked about this in some previous videos, and they have actually just recently taken this and turned it into a more interesting command, which is in the menu. So it used to be typed in, and now you go over to the gameplay tab, and you go all the way down to the bottom, and you will see online difficulty scaling. Let me move myself out of the way yet again. So if you want to increase the difficulty, this only works in offline mode, so it's not going to work in online mode. You have to be on an offline character. So let me go to an offline character, and I'll show you this. The command might still work, so let's give it a try. So the command still works, but you can also now go into the options here and you can do it directly. So I can choose exactly what number I would like to have. Now, do keep in mind that each individual difficulty setting increase has its own individual effect. So for instance, at players 2, you will get more EXP. At players 3, you will get more items. At players 4, more EXP. 5, more items. 6, more EXP. 7 more items, and 8 more EXP. You do get more EXP at each individual interval, but the item increase only happens at 1, 3, 5, and 7. So you get no additional items at 8. And the EXP increase happens at every single one, as well as the damage of the monsters goes up by 50%, and the health of the monster goes up by 50%, each individual tier that it goes up. Now, another fun one that you can do is actually no item pickup. So this is an interesting one, and it's actually something that you may want to use. Basically, what this does is it makes it so that unless you are in the alt mode, so if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, when you hold down the alt key, you're technically in the alt mode, which is when the items names pop up. During this time, you can click on items, but you can also click on items when you're not in this mode. Now, the alt mode is used to show the names, make it easier for you to click on what's on the ground. So if I were to go somewhere, for instance, like let's say go to Canyon of the Magi, and let's go ahead and kill a couple monsters real quick. So we got some monsters right here that need Mjoivern. So we've got an item on the ground. If I were to walk up to this item, and let's say I was just trying to move my character, and I clicked somewhere. So I accidentally clicked on this axe. Well, I picked it up. I didn't have to hold down Alt to see that axe. I just accidentally clicked on the axe. And here again, I accidentally click on the bolts. But if you type in /no pickup, you will see the term item pickup disabled written on the screen. And you will notice that now I can click where this potion is, and I will not pick it up. I can click where this axe is, and I will not pick it up. There's gold right here that I can click on, and it will not pick it up. However, in this mode, if I press the Alt key, I can still pick up items. It's a very interesting mode. You will not be able to pick up items without the Alt key pressed down. and this is actually a really nice feature. To disable this mode, you type in /no item pickup again, and you will see the term item pickup enabled. Now, this is actually really nice because, for instance, let's say I didn't want to pick up that clasped orb. I could walk all over top of this and not pick it up. But as soon as I hold down the Alt key, I can, of course, individually pick that item up while I'm in this mode. It's an interesting way to utilize some commands. So keep that one in mind as you play further. Another interesting command that is very similar to the /FPS command. So if you type in /FPS, as we talked about earlier, you get the FPS in the top left-hand side. However, we're going to type in a different command. This one is /framerate, and /framerate gives you a lot more. So as you can see here, we've got a heck of a lot more than we had before. All right, so we've got the physical memory usage, the page file usage, tile cache, as well as the video DirectX version, which is DirectX 12, GFX memory, COF memory, which is interesting, sprite cache memory, and cell data cache memory. So we've got more information there with the /framerate command than we did with the /FPS command. That's an interesting one. And of course, to disable this one, all you have to do is type in /framerate again. And if you don't know this, you can press enter and you can press the up key on the keyboard, just the up key, and it will automatically put in the previous term that you had used. So if you notice here, I have /framerate. If I press enter, frame rate will go away and it's gone. And if I just simply press the up arrow, it will come back and I can, of course, toggle it again. Next on the list is a rather silly one that doesn't really have a whole lot of purpose other than just to troll your friends. If you type in sound chaos debug, it worked on beta. There we go. Make it stop! Make it stop, you have to type it in again. So as you can see here, very interesting. A lot of sounds. Lots and lots and lots of sounds. And I'm assuming it was originally used for debugging the sound system, and there's still sounds playing in the background. But, Lord, I think I'm going to have to leave the game and rejoin. They're still playing in the background. I left the game and they're still playing. They're still playing. I'll be right back. Another very simple command that you can use, now that I've gotten rid of the sound chaos debug, is the time command. If you type in /time, you should get the game time written right on the screen. So as you can see there, we've got 1725. That one is rather simple. And there are also some other shortcuts which are a little not obvious. Control M will toggle the music on the menus. So if we go back to the main menu, as you can see, when I hold Control and press M, we get the music. And then when I hold Control and press M again, it's gone. All right, so now for the next part of this, we are going to have to create ourselves a shortcut, which is fairly simple. What you want to do is you want to click on this little gear right here, and you want to go to Show in Explorer, which is going to take you to the Diablo 2 Resurrected folder. You're going to open up the Diablo 2 Resurrected folder, and then you are going to right-click on the D2R.exe file right here. Let me bring this up a little bit bigger so you can really see it. You're going to right-click on the D2R.exe file, and you're going to go Send to Desktop Create Shortcut. And on your desktop, you should have a Diablo 2 Resurrected shortcut. Now, this is different than the Diablo 2 Resurrected shortcut here. This one here is to the launcher, and that is not the one we want. We want this one here that is to the executable file. And what you're going to do is you're going to open this executable file, and I'm going to bring this up in a different way so you can see it directly. All right, so here we go. This is your executable file, and this is a shortcut directly to Diablo 2 Resurrected. All right, so now why is this important? Why do we need to go directly to this? Because we have a lot of different commands that we can input in here. And the way we put them in here is we put a dash followed by the command. This one in particular that we're going to go over first is Enablerespec. All right, spelled just like that. So you should see it's Enablerespec. And this one in particular does exactly what it says. So if I click OK and then I open up the game with this particular shortcut, as opposed to the launcher, I will be able to respec my characters in offline mode an infinite number of times. This is something that is specific to offline mode. In fact, a couple of these things are going to be offline mode only. So do keep that in mind. So if I go into, for instance, I don't know, my let's go to the Mortal King Barbarian, and let's go to normal difficulty. I should have the ability to respec. Just Alt-click the stats on your screen right here. That's it. And once you do that, you will get all your stat points back, as well as your skill points. And you can do this an infinite number of times in offline mode. So if you would like to enable that, now you know how. All right, so let's do the next one. All right, for the next one, what we can do is we can actually enable players to a specific number, depending on what we would like, and it will automatically put it at that every single time we enter the game. So if we would like to make it so that all games from now on are going to be /players 8, we can type in players 8, or we can type in players 2, or we can type in players 6. If you do this in the command, you can automatically make it players 8 every single time you create an offline game. Keep in mind, /players command only works in offline games. This is a relatively easy one to be able to make sure that every single game that you play is at least in the lowest difficulty setting that you would like. Of course, you can micromanage this to your heart's content later by changing the slider or typing in the /players command, but this is another way that you can do it. So another command that you can use that is rather interesting is the no sound command. So if you just type in -ns, and that's it, then when you launch Diablo 2, there will be no sound. As you can see, Diablo 2 is launching. You would normally hear the sound of the Blizzard logo popping up here, and then eventually you would hear the sound of the fire, and then the opening music, and so forth and so on. But this does not have any of it now, because I have disabled the sound completely for Diablo 2. Why would you do this? Well, believe it or not, there are some people who have confirmed that disabling the sound dramatically increases load times. So if you are trying to get into games, for instance, let me go ahead and create one real quick. As you can see, my load times are actually quite fast. Some people have actually tested this, and it is anything from a small increase to a rather drastic increase. So if you are having issues with ridiculously long load times, perhaps you can give the no sound option a try. Now, granted, I am running this off of an NVMe drive, which is a rather fast hard drive, so my load times are already particularly fast. But without any sound, the game does get a little boring. I guess you could always add your own soundtrack, like music or something like that. Not exactly sure. But this is an option that you can use. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and I hope that some of these commands will come in useful for you. Thanks for watching, and keep watching.
He's gone all up in
Get him out of it.
He's been doing it without our permission. Look, he's trying to get Jimmy.
Oh my god.
My skull feels like it's in a vice.
What are you doing in there, little buddy? What are you doing in the tree? That's the in the tree. It's all the way up the tree, too.